Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're looking at some video game movies, because video games are movies now.
Yep.
And they have been prior to now.
Also, yep, undoubtedly.
This one is in that golden era of, is this even possible? No. So we've got 4 weeks of this. The fourth one is undecided. If you do have any suggestions, please leave them below. But of course, we're starting with 1994's Double Dragon.
Yuck, awful.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad movie.
Yeah, you have to leave a like. It goes for an hour and 35 minutes, but is that even...
No, it felt like 135 minutes.
Absolutely,
it's so long, so little happens in it.
Yeah.
Clearly the intent was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a big hit.
Yep.
Let's do something in that vein. What else do the kids like? What else are the kids putting quarters into? Kids were putting quarters into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Just regular turtles in the aquarium?
This came... Oh, yeah, they still do that.
Just thumbing those quarters in. And they were like, what else do kids like? The Double Dragon. Kids love that.
It's late. Double Dragon was... They still were making them, but it was over at this point. People were doing a Mortal Kombat on each other.
Absolutely.
People were doing a Street Fighter in each
Yeah.
other. Hold that thought for another week.
Interesting.
So this is in the era as well. So Technos, who created this brand,
Yes.
they ported this game to everything.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter whether it was good or not. It mostly wasn't.
Correct.
Well, depending on the system. Solid core game in Double Dragon. Did a lot for the beat-em-up genre.
One of the earliest microtransaction games, I don't know if you know this, because Double Dragon 3 in the arcades, if you wanted like a weapon or something, or like more energy or whatever it is, you could go to a shop in the game and put more coins in and pay for it that way.
Oh my God.
Right?
But I put all my coins in that turtle.
Well, too bad. Get them out. Tip that turtle upside down and tip him out.
I mean, that's wild. For then, now it's like, yeah, of course, that makes a lot of sense. There was also an animated series, which was not good, where I think they literally turned into dragons.
Yeah, there was a Marvel Comics series that was set in the future. This is also set in the future.
Yeah, it's set in the future.
This is set in the far-flung future of 2007. The
Whoa.
year 2007. The world has been destroyed.
A big earthquake.
Big earthquake. There's smog. There's acid rain.
You got to jack up your buildings.
You got to jack up.
You got to jack them right up.
You got to jack up those buildings. People have got paper-powered rocket cars.
Yeah, they got Back to the Future 2 style garbage fuel units in the middle of their vehicles.
The one thing that I love about this future.
There would be no rubbish because people would just be jamming it into their cars.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Ridiculous.
I love that. My favorite part of this future is, though, that if you go past somebody's car, you can just look up who's driving the car. Like, you've got a little terminal in your car, and you can figure out who's driving the car. You get a picture of them, you get their address, you get how much they bench. So, and it's
That's social media in 2007.
It's essentially to determine like whether you can beat them in a fight, in a road rage incident. I think that maybe that's the main driver of why this society collapsed.
Oh, okay. It's not night gangs.
No.
I mean, it is night gangs.
There are some night gangs, but I think maybe a lot of it is just like, hey, Robert, what do you bloody learn to indicate before you merge, idiot? And then you shoot at each other, I guess.
I put my bench stats low. And then I get little guys coming up. They're coming to get me.
I could outfight that guy.
And I break him over my knee like I'm Bane. I'm not that big, but I'm bigger than that guy, you know?
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's this kind of pseudo RoboCop news anchor experience. Andy Dick's among it. Fuck off, by the way, Andy Dick.
Vanna White and... What's that guy's name?
Another guy.
Yeah, hang on. I got it. He's a sort of George Hamilton.
Yeah.
Famously tanned actor George Hamilton. They're the hosts of this show. They're taking weird digs. At one point, they're like, Madonna's finally retired. Madonna, she's a bit past us, isn't she? I looked it up. Her last album prior to this sold 4 million copies in 2005. So I guess she fell off after that.
I guess she did. Also, she could have married Tom Arnold, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's not implausible.
That's right.
1994's Tom Arnold.
Yeah, funny guy.
Coming off True Lies
That's
around
right,
this era.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So the story of the original game is Billy and Jimmy have to rescue Jimmy's girlfriend, and it takes some inspiration from Fist of the North Star. But this is just... What if there was a medallion, but it was 2 medallions, and if you got one of the medallions, you can turn into a Shadow Man, and if you've got the other medallion,
you can't do anything. Unless there's 2 of you, there's 2 brothers, and then you hang around with this medallion for a bit, and you try and figure out how it works, and then you're like nuts to this, and you throw it away, and then it comes back to you, and then you've got magic powers.
Yeah, things falls on you, but you're all right.
But and then you and your brother get costumes.
Yeah.
Like in your video game, and then you fight Robert Patrick. When I was a kid, I remember thinking 2 draws for this. Double Dragon video game, incredible.
2 dragons?
And I'm like, that's Robert Patrick from Terminator 2.
Exactly.
Hell yeah. He's the bad guy in this again. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been. It's awful.
No.
It's awful and it's awful now.
Yet again, he's at the forefront of special effects for an evil character in a movie. But I feel like this really erodes Robert Patrick's villainous nature that he cultivated in Terminator 2.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't mind this role. He's like, yeah, it was a funny character to play and it was fairly liberating and I did it as a favor. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's chewing some scenery, you
Yeah.
know. Is that his real hair? Did he bleach that?
Oh, he bleached it, Mason.
Wow, that explains present day Robert Patrick.
Does it?
Yep.
But he aged in real time. It's not like it...
No, he would have had a beautiful full head of Fabio-like hair, but the peroxide burned it all off.
I think his hair's still pretty good, isn't it?
I'm saying it could have been better.
He was Agent Doggett after this. He was in the X-Files.
Yeah, I know.
He was second Mulder.
He was Peacemaker's dad in Peacemaker.
He was Peacemaker's dad in Peacemaker.
He's in the new Mortal Kombat. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, he's T-1000.
Oh my God, he's
He's doing all the
T-1000.
moves. He's doing the spike through the eye move.
That's a good one. Yeah. I was thinking in watching this.
I wasn't thinking at all.
No.
I was falling into a coma, I think.
Sure.
No, I was angry and then I fell into a coma.
That's how I'm going to die. I figured it out, I think. Just you saying that then. Would I have liked this as a kid? And I just don't think I would have. Like, I liked Suburban Commando and Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze and probably the 3 Ninjas movies, some of them. I don't fucking know.
Well, it's interesting because I really like that. Even now, I really like that original Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, yeah.
And-
I like the second one
And
still.
this isn't a million miles away from that, but it's way worse.
Yeah.
It's similar in that it's a martial arts movie for kids where very obviously none of the blows land. It's just a lot of spinning kicks to nobody. And I forgive that in TMNT, the original one.
We forgive you.
And that's probably because...
I mean, they do also throw a guy into a garbage truck
They
at the
do.
end and crush all his bones.
Yeah. And Raphael gets absolutely pulverized by the Foot Clan. So I think maybe that's it. I don't know.
They beat a rat up.
They do beat a rat up. That's true. It's just... It's not interesting. Nothing happens. They've tried it. They've given us kind of a Super Mario Brothers style world, you know?
Their aim was to make this better than the Super Mario Brothers movie, which came out the year before. It's not better. It's worse than that movie. I mean, we've talked about that movie, and it's not great, but at least it's interesting. But it is kind of going for that grimy Blade Runner, Super Mario World kind of universe, and it really just doesn't land. And you know what I found out about this, which was absolutely wild?
What's that?
The first draft of this was written by Paul Dini.
That's the Batman, the animated series guy.
Yes, it is, Mason.
Wow.
Rejected.
Oh, no.
They rejected his script. And
Because
then,
it was about a boy whose parents were killed, and then he grew up to be a vigilante. in
yeah, he
Gotham
said,
City.
he's like, can we do Batman?
Yeah, I can only write Batman. I can write it really well, to be clear. Do you own the rights to Batman? No, Warner Brothers do. Sorry. All right.
All right, hear me out. Double Batman. What do you think? So then Michael Gould came in to write some of it.
Okay.
You might recognize his name because he produced and wrote on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Interesting.
Isn't that something interesting? So
Well, you're going to start somewhere.
we do. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's got a turkey in their filmography.
And, you know, Walter White and Jesse, they found 2 halves of that medallion.
They
They
did.
combined together to make the blue meth.
Yeah, they made super meth with it.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, let's talk about the leads in this. We've got Mark Dacascos, who's a legit martial artist. He was in...
You wouldn't be able to tell from this movie.
He does some flips.
Yeah, all right.
Sometimes they reverse the flip also.
Sure, okay.
His hair's bouncing around.
Uh-huh, yep.
He was in John Wick 3.
He was in John Wick 3.
Legit. And then we've got Party of Five Scott Wolf. Now, look, I don't dislike Scott Wolf. And I think, in all honesty, he does okay considering, because nothing looks like it's a real fight anyway. So
True.
why not it be this?
Nothing
right?
looks like a real fight or a real human interaction.
Well, they're supposed to be like children, right? I think that's the idea. They wrote them that way, that they're kids. They're like teenagers.
Teenagers, not children.
Well, teenagers are children, but yes, I get
If
your point.
it was revealed at the end that it was just 2 actual children just telling each other a stupid story, I'd be like, that makes more sense, actually. Yeah, then I got the medallion, and then I turned into a ghost. And then I went into this guy's body and I danced around.
And it was the T-1000. But I'm stronger than the T-1000 because I'm a ghost and a ghost beats a liquid metal robot. It introduces them by them being in a tag team karate tournament, but they're just beating up the one guy. Like the second guy doesn't get tagged in.
Well, I mean, that's a tactical mistake on the part of the other 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's not their movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that one guy is better than them both at martial arts because they win.
No, they start a fight after the fight, though.
And then they win.
Then they win, yeah. I think, though, there's some okay stunts in this. There's a moment where two very clear stuntmen are in front of an explosion and they leap over a car.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that looks really good. You know, splinters shattering everywhere. It reminded me of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that's a relevant comparison.
I think so too.
Yeah. I don't mind also there's a big muscle man in this. He's a big muscle man, then he becomes an even bigger muscle man. I feel like that's very video game villain-esque, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's a video game villain evolution. Yeah, that's a Bobo. He's sort of one of the iconic villains from that series. He's also got his own game, A Bobo's Quest.
Really?
I don't know if it's official or not. Probably not.
Did you make this game?
Yes.
It's a flip book, isn't it?
Is a flip.
Oh, there's virtual reality in this. Remember that?
There's a bunch of video game stuff in this, but no.
Yeah,
it's a
there's
video.
a car driving sequence where you see like where it's 3D.
Right. Oh, Mike, some incredible moves. There's a moment in this where the Lee brothers are being pursued in their garbage-eating car by the bad guys, and one of the brothers is like, "Let's see how you handle this," and then he just he does a right turn.
And they like,
"Wah!"
How do you do that?
At one point, they throw a newspaper on the back onto the guy's windscreen, and he can't see him. But then he's got a camera in his car, and then the video game starts.
That's right.
It's awful. It's bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
The effects guys or whatever are like, "Hey, we got this car racing thing. You want me to?" And they're just like, "Yeah, just throw it in. Who cares?
We don't care.
We don't care. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
We've got unlimited money and cocaine here. Let's go nuts.
Should we do a virtual reality also roller coaster? Just a moment. Remember the bit where Alyssa Milano walks in on her brother and he's just like, whoa! Whoa!
Alyssa Milano is playing Marion, who's supposed to be Jimmy's love interest in the series.
Right, that's good.
Not really in this. There's a woman who I assumed was like one of their girlfriends, but it's their mum, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like she's...
And she
I thought they were the
dies.
same age.
That's what I thought.
It's their legal guardian, and she's around for a bit, and then they just set her on... What do?
She dies.
Oh, yeah.
In an explosion.
Yeah.
And then they get away or whatever, and they're like, no. And then she comes back as Obi-Wan at the end and's like, now you can do a double dragon on Robert Patrick. But before we get to that, there's a boat chase that goes for a really long time.
Oh, right, but if I can set it up.
Okay.
The Lee brothers are surrounded on... The Lee brothers...
And they are brothers.
They are brothers. We talked about this earlier. They are brothers.
That's all the information we know.
We don't know their backstories.
We don't. And you don't necessarily need it.
And all brothers have similarities.
Yep.
And they also have differences. Sometimes those differences are subtle. Sometimes they're very obvious. And you're like, huh? But then you don't question it because it's none of your business, really.
Because families are different.
All families are different, aren't they? And that's beautiful.
Exactly.
But to set it up, the Lee brothers are...
And they are brothers.
They're brothers. They're trapped in a boathouse and they're surrounded on all sides by the wacky gangs, all with their own personalities or whatever. And Billy Lee's like, here's how there's a motorbike. We can get out of here. And he gets on the motorbike and he tries to start the motorbike and it all falls apart. And they're like, what are we going to do now?
Classic gag. Reckless Kelly did it better.
And Jimmy Lee's like, I think I've got an idea. Here's how we can do it. There's a boat in this boathouse. Let's get in the boat. It's in the boat, and then we can just leave.
Yeah.
Because there's a clear path to the water.
They get out of there,
just get
don't
in
they?
the boat.
Yeah.
What a stunning display of strategy from the Lee brothers.
I completely agree. And they are brothers.
You agree?
Yes.
They're the Lee brothers.
And they also go into an explosion.
Yeah.
And they're in that explosion. There's not like a split second where they could have escaped that explosion. But then they're like, I guess we escaped the explosion. But they did have a magic amulet, which is also how everybody in Fast and Furious survives. Even Brian, who died in real life. But he's alive in the movies.
Agreed.
He's just late to all the barbecues.
He's busy.
Yeah, he's busy, man. So in the finale, if you play original Double Dragon, or one of them, I don't remember which one, I think it's the first one, Jimmy and Billy, they get to the end and they defeat the boss.
And then they have to fight each other.
That's
to
right.
determine who's going to be Marion's boyfriend. Marion doesn't have a say in this. She's just like, I guess whoever kills the other guy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Whatever, man. And then, yeah, that's how it goes. So then she gives you a kiss and she goes, great, thanks for killing your brother. And they are brothers. So I don't know about that. The movie goes in a different direction.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
Okay.
Do the thing from the game.
Right.
So the final sequence looks like it's set in Willy Wonka's factory, except it's garbage instead of sweets. You know, there's like a green river and everything's colorful and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So they have to fight Robert Patrick, who's turning in and out of a shadow.
Yeah.
Which is not a great effect, but you
And
know.
sometimes he can go into your body and control you, but not if you have the amulet.
Yeah.
But he can't do it on either of the brothers, even though only one of them has the half of the amulet.
No, he does it on the other brother.
Yeah.
He does it on one of the brothers.
Good for him.
And then them brothers have to fight, which I guess is like the game.
Yeah.
And they are brothers.
But then sometimes he can just like turn into a shadow and choke a guy out.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think he should have done that.
That guy's from like The Hills Have Eyes or something, isn't he?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they fight Robert Patrick, and what I like about that is it's actually a callback to the start of the movie where they beat up one guy together. And they do it again, except, this time they have the magic amulets, which makes it much easier at a point. Or after their mum appears and goes, you can do a double dragon on Robert Patrick
Absolutely,
now and
sure.
whatever. And then they get magic new outfits, and it looks good.
Yeah. They're fun and they interact and they're brothers. And I think that's great.
They are
At
brothers.
one point, one of them was like, "Well, you're ugly, but I'm homely. What are you doing? What is this? What did you decide?" Their relationship is so random. It's never established. Like,
Yeah.
is one the funny one and one the serious one?
No.
They're both goofy sometimes and not. Like, is one?
One's younger.
Yep.
They say that.
Yeah, one is younger.
Yeah.
God, so vague and boring.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Did you ever play the movie tie-in game to this?
No.
So they were originally going to do the thing which they did for Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Digitized.
Digitized.
Mortal Kombat style.
That's right, but they didn't have time to do that, so they.
Could they get Kylie Minogue?
I wish. They wish.
Yeah. 'Cause
Australia's
they got Kylie
own.
Minogue for the game.
Or a stunt double at
No,
the
they
very
did.
least.
They got Kylie Minogue.
Or a stunt double at the very least.
All right, fine.
We'll talk about it next week.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So yeah, it just ended up being a regular fighting game that came out the next year. It's 1-on-1 and it's all 2D and etc.
Traditionally, not where the Double Dragon franchise excels one-on-one.
No, it flourishes. No, it absolutely doesn't. The idea of a double dragon is there's two dragons and you beat up other dragons.
Exactly.
I think that's how it happens and goes.
And there's conveyor belts. There's a bunch of conveyor belts.
Yep.
You're going to jump on the conveyor belts and they're going the wrong way and you lose focus for a second, you fall off the conveyor belt and you die. There's none of that in this movie.
Nah, none of that, man.
Right? It's not, it's not about chases. The franchise. It's not about car chases and
Nah.
boat chases.
Stop running
it's
about.
punching.
Yeah,
God, get the punches right, for God's sake.
I completely agree. Do you know what it's time for now?
What's it time for?
It's time for the Trivia Dragon.
I love that.
This is the trivia section of the show where we go, hey, do you want some interesting facts about Double Dragon the movie?
I would say no, but I would love for some trivia to salvage the experience of watching this movie, which is bad.
I'm looking at this and I don't think that's going to happen.
I have one piece of trivia.
Okay.
The director of this movie directed the Genesis video Invisible Touch.
That's good.
Is it?
I mean, the video is, right?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just read it here. I don't know.
That's great.
That is great, isn't
I
it?
don't think he directed a movie after this.
Huh.
But whose fault is that?
His fault.
Yeah. Not exclusively, but yeah. So Alyssa Milano and Scott Wolf, they actually started dating while filming and they were engaged for a time being.
Well, isn't that delightful for them?
Yeah. A real party of two. Or a real charmed, but two.
Or a real double dragon.
Whoa!
Yeah. Two dragons in that relationship.
Two dragons?
Yeah,
Two
right.
superstars of Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah.
I bet that's how they introduce each other. Is the other dragon. is I'm Billy Lee and she's Jimmy Lee, you know what I mean? Which is Marion. But because our relationship with the double dragons, that's what we're saying there.
Sure.
We have to break up.
I'm sick of explaining this joke. It's not even a joke. No one gets it.
It's our lives. This is our lives, Alyssa Milano.
I'm imagining that fight in Marriage Story, but it's just about Double Dragon.
And they broke the amulet in half. And Dacascos is like, am I
Am
part
I
of
a
this?
double dragon?
No, you're not. No. There's no room.
It's not called Triple Dragon.
God.
Sibling characters Marion and Mark are played by real-life siblings Alyssa Milano and Corey Milano.
That's great.
There you go.
Wow. Because that's what we needed. We needed backstory for a non-main character. That's what we needed.
Agreed.
And we needed nepotism, obviously. The
Nepotism.
brothers got to get a leg up.
Got
You
it.
know what I mean?
And they are brothers.
Yeah.
The boat chase was filmed on a river in northeast Ohio, and it culminates in an explosion that uses 700 gallons of gasoline combined with 200 gallons of alcohol. Despite warning everybody the night before on several different news channels, the explosion caused Cleveland residents to panic, leading to 210 phone calls to emergency services for over 10 minutes. I mean, it was a big explosion, wasn't
It's a
it?
big explosion.
I didn't get the sense that it was that big. I feel like they filmed it too close.
Yeah, they do that, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, it was a big explosion, apparently, according to this. Here's a little bit of a break in the fourth wall, Mason, if you don't mind.
I'm ready.
In this otherwise flawless movie. In the Power Corps hideout, there's a Double Dragon arcade game.
Oh, ha, ha, ha.
Yep. Remember the moment where Robert Patrick is gifted the medallion? And he's like, this is clearly half a medallion. Like, the person who got that amulet, you didn't... Like, it looks like a piece of a jigsaw. You didn't... Come on, man.
Maybe they didn't listen to his narration at the start of the movie. You know, the movie
I was
starts...
surprised that it was him doing the narration.
The movie starts with a little bit of narration because and a classic bit of tell don't show.
Yeah, man.
Which is I think is the way Hollywood movies are meant to be, where he's like, well, once there was a empire and they had a
ancient dynasty,
and then there was
Those two dragons.
and but then they made a medallion, and that's the truth, and this is that story. I've got to get that medallion.
It's me, Robert Patrick.
I'm here. You'll see me later.
I'm going to be a shadow man.
I'm doing this as a favour, just to be clear.
So the box office for this on a budget of $7.8 million, not that bad considering. I feel like it could have looked worse.
I guess they got a lot done, didn't they? They built a bunch of weird hideouts.
Yeah.
Did that explosion.
Yep. They built that medallion, two medallions. Double medallions.
Yeah. They turned Robert Patrick into that shadowy cellophane man.
He was a ghost.
He was a ghost, yeah. Oh, you think maybe Robert Patrick did that on his own?
Yeah, maybe. As a favour.
As a favour.
The return on this was $4.2 million. The reason it was so low, for one, it was bad and kids didn't like it. But
correct.
kids couldn't even see it because it was released as a PG-13. They weren't even given the option by the studio to cut it down, which is wild. Who do you think is seeing this? Well, nobody, obviously.
Yeah.
But somebody would have seen it, potentially.
I mean, these days they would have cut it down to a G or whatever, or they would have made it a hard R.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody's saying a hard R, if you know what I mean.
Remember in the movie The Wizard, there's a moment where he goes, you got 50,000 points on Double Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. We talked about The
I mean,
Wizard.
vaguely, yeah.
I hope we talked about it then. But
Sure.
that's not even possible. Like an autistic boy played Double Dragon for 33 seconds.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You would have had to play the whole game.
Yeah, but even then, does it go up to 50,000? I don't know.
I don't know,
man.
I'm just stuck on that point where you said there's a Double Dragon arcade machine in the...
Yeah.
Like, in the wake of this, do you think anybody contemplated... Like, you should look into
Zeppeku?
that. Or maybe. But you'd think you'd be like, hey, you guys are called Billy and Jimmy Lee.
Yeah.
And you do martial arts.
Yeah.
And Marion, all those characters in this game.
Yeah.
Marion, that game's in your headquarters.
Yeah, no, man.
You never even thought about it?
I'm with you. I agree with you.
Is someone spying on us? Am I having a mental health episode right now? Am I imagining this? Which part am I imagining? Am I imagining the video game? Or do I live in the video game and I'm imagining my real life? What's happening?
Well, the game came first, so presumably these guys modeled their lives off the Double Dragon video game, but only roughly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and some of the stuff just happened to line up by coincidence, like the magic outfits they got at the end, which look like the outfits from the game. Yeah. God, it's good to Double Dragon.
She'd be like, did you just start dating me because my name's Marion and Jimmy Lee and the... Yeah, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, babe.
We're going to break up.
And we're going to fight to the death.
Yeah.
Me and my brother. And we are brothers.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Oh, also, there's the police bit as well. You know, the police are in this?
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to the plugs and whatever, there's a police subplot in this. I don't know why.
They don't want to take bribes, but he'll take a check at the
Yeah.
end from Robert Patrick, who's... yeah.
It's a bad movie. I don't know what's going on.
It's like RoboCop-esque. I
There's
think
too
that's
much
the
in this
idea.
movie and also not enough.
Yeah.
You know?
And too much.
And too much.
Mostly the too much thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been much shorter. And by shorter, I mean not exist at all.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I agree. Anyways, do you know we have something called BigSandwich.co, Mason?
Yes, I do.
That's right, where videos, including Caravan of Garbage, always go up there early. Here's a hint towards next week. I already said it. It's Street Fighter the movie.
Ooh.
The first one, not the Chun-Li one.
Oh, yeah.
Get to that at some point.
Maybe that could be the fourth one.
Could be. Let us know. Let us know.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad and boring and stupid. Anyways, that's not the only thing that goes up there. We have video game Let's Plays. We have
right.
so many. We love an arcade side-scroller, don't we?
right.
Oh my God. We've got a bunch of those, including Ninja Turtles, including The Punisher. We've looked at a bunch of RoboCop games, Indiana Jones games, Star Wars games, so many different games.
These are
Mason.
all valuable IPs. Much like the Double Dragon IP was a valuable IP up until this point. Now it's not.
That's right.
Now it's probably owned by the guy who owns Atari or whatever.
Yeah.
Just puts it on a t-shirt every once in a while.
That's what he does.
I don't know.
We don't know. There's also movie commentaries. There's bonus podcasts. We do a bunch of stuff there. There's literally thousands of hours of bonus content if you do want to check that out.
And you do.
And you do. Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. We're going to talk about all the big video game movies as they come out. That's what we have to do, don't we?
That's right.
We're going to talk about your Minecraft.
Minecraft is what I was thinking.
You're the Last of Us Part 2.
You're the Last of Us.
You're the Last of Us Part 2. You know the song?
Yeah.
John
You're
Farnham.
the Last of Us. Oh, yeah, I know it.
Yeah. So that's got its own YouTube channel. It's on Apple, Spotify, etc., and so forth. Thank you so much to Ben for the edit.
Thank you, Ben.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
This was awful.
Bad movie.
Awful movie.
I agree.
Currently, it's just free on YouTube if you
Oh,
want to
yeah,
watch
you can
it.
just
but
watch
don't.
it. Yeah, don't.
Don't do it.
It really...
That's the mark of a really bad
Yeah.
movie. Or a really good movie, because sometimes the Criterion movies are just on there, and Criterion clearly doesn't care.
Yeah.
But, like, mostly it's the mark of a really bad movie.
Generally, yeah.
Somebody's put it up, and it's been up for 6 years, and nobody's noticed. Anyway, bye.